So I'm so excited to be sitting down with Dr. Sarah today. Sarah is a naturopathic doctor. She's going to have to correct me because this is a long title. A lactation consultant and a doula. She's with Downtown Doula. And today we're going to be answering a bunch of your questions. So I was completely overwhelmed with the number of questions that we got in, and not just the number, but also the quality of questions. And even Dr. Sarah was like,
yeah,
those are
some really great questions.
So we've got lots of questions. Just kind of as a blanket before we introduce ourselves, the entire purpose of the series is to spread high quality information and to answer your questions. This is not about judgment. This is not about, how you must feed your baby. This is about support for moms who are interested in breastfeeding or maybe having a bit of a tough time, and some other topics along in there. Also talking a bit about birth and kind of what a doula does. And for me, honestly, this is like a great way for me to actually find out what a doula does, because that was a big question I had when I was pregnant. So hi there, my name's Alana. I'm a mom to a beautiful 17-month-old baby girl, and I can only say that for like another week. She's almost 18 months.
What? You have a full toddler on your hands.
I know. It's so weird because I've started to include like hashtag toddler mom on my content. I'm just like, I'm not a toddler. She's a newborn. I'm currently on maternity leave in Canada. And I'm enjoying every moment of that. And then I have this TikTok account, and if this video is on Instagram, I have this Instagram account, where, among other things, we talk a lot about really just making the most of your motherhood journey, making the most of your maternity leave, getting out of the house, and just honestly providing support in any kind of direction. I get a lot of questions on any topic, from where did you get that painting in your house, all the way down to what do you think of your stroller, and all sorts of points in between. And one of the ways that the series actually came about, when my daughter was a newborn and I was new to breastfeeding and having a bit of a tough time, but we got over it. We'll talk about it. I started a series on TikTok reviewing nursing rooms in the GTA, and kind of through that, in conversation with Dr. Sarah, who I met at a baby show, we decided to do this series. So I'm going to estimate that there's probably going to be 5 actual videos in the series. Think of a bit like a podcast, maybe even like a trial balloon for a podcast.
There you go.
And then we do have some specific questions we're going to answer as well. So make sure you're following along and come back, because there will be more episodes. So that's me. And Sarah, I will have you introduce yourself.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Sarah. I am a naturopathic doctor. I'm a board certified lactation consultant. I also do infant craniosacral therapy, which is like gentle infant massage. Works.
That sounds a very big word.
Yeah, I know. It sounds. I always say like
terrifying.
It's a lot of titles. It just means I like live and breathe babies and lactation. And the craniosacral is like really gentle infant massage that just helps with like, because if you need to extend your neck to latch, if your shoulders are tight, that's really hard to do. So we get them a little bit looser.
So yeah, anyways, that is why I was like, I'm going to give you the high level on what she does, because
Yeah. I'm also the founder of Your Downtown Doula, which is a collective of naturopathic doctors. We work all over the GTA, and we provide prenatal classes, birth doula support. We have a team of lactation consultants, postpartum doulas, basically everything baby, birth, pregnancy related.
So what made you get into that?
That's a great question. It was like a little bit of an accident. Like I started in naturopathic college, and my now co-founder was like, Sarah, there's a doula course that's happening. It's like a weekend doula course specifically for naturopathic doctors, and there's a student discount, and I feel like you'd love it. And I was like, okay. It was like right by my house. I was like, oh, sure.
You literally just like stumbled into it.
Yeah, I completely stumbled into it. And I was like, I do love this. And then we actually did our first birth together, because we were new and weren't sure what we were doing. So we're like, okay, we're going to be a team. We'll both support this person so that we feel like we're, providing good care for the first birth we ever do. Yeah. And then like we decided to start a company together, because it was such a good experience. And then like one of my very first clients really, really struggled with breastfeeding. And I was like in my 4th year of naturopathic college at the time. And I feel like breastfeeding is the foundation of health. There's like so many benefits, and we learn about the benefits. And I was like, I legitimately have no idea how to help you.
So it's kind of funny that you say you stumbled into it, because I kind of stumbled into, I don't even consider myself a breastfeeding influencer, because like, I don't even know how to, when people like, describe your content, I'm like, mom stuff. But I kind of fell into talking about breastfeeding because my daughter had a little NICU stay, and we had a little bit of a tough time getting her to transition from the bottle to
the breast.
latching. We had a little bit of trouble. I will say an angel of lactation consultant helped us get sorted out.
Nice.
And I remember she was like telling me what to do, and like not just like holding and directing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't realize that we were going to be on this kind of basis there. But we are, apparently. And as I am with everyone on this floor, but okay. And she kind of helped us get in the right way.
Yeah.
I am really thankful to my OB, who I really think she helped me establish a good supply, because she told me, maybe it was a week, don't quote me, maybe a week before my scheduled induction, she had said, start using this hand pump.
Good. Nice.
I think it was 3 times a day for 5 minutes each side.
Yeah.
And so I never had supply issues. Like my milk came in really
awesome.
quick, and like we actually had so much milk that we were able to donate it to some friends as well, which was really really special to me.
Yeah.
And like we still have a great supply at almost 18 months. So very happy with that. But I guess kind of the flip side of that is we had a tough time getting it established.
Yeah.
And she showed me I was showed the football hold, and I was like, oh, this is game changing, which we'll talk more about after.
Yeah.
But yeah. And anyway, so I remember asking her, I'm like, okay, so like, when can I come back to like get more tips? She's like, you're not going to need to come back. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm going to need to come back.
Yeah.
Like the kid's drinking my milk from a bottle, which is great, but like I want that connection. Like I want the convenience of being able to do that.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, you're fine. You're gonna. And literally like the next day, and then it clicked.
Yeah.
And then we'd been latching a little bit and then finishing off the bottle. And then we basically didn't go back to bottles.
Amazing.
Except for there was a couple of times where she wasn't sleeping as well at night. So I'm like, you know what? We have milk in the freezer. Let's just
try it, right?
Try a knockout bottle.
Yeah.
And I know that that means something else, but we called it a knockout bottle, just fresh milk from the freezer.
Yeah.
And that was kind of enough to get her asleep. Nice. And I was just like, what magic did she do? Because it worked.
Yeah.
And then
sometimes it's just you feeling more confident, right?
Well, and I think that confidence is such a big part of it, because fast forward a month or two later, I went to a nursing room at a mall. I had a really bad experience where this woman who could be my mom's age was like in there with me and like talking to me, and I'm just like,
oh no,
baby,
I'm very busy right now, thank you.
I don't really know what I'm like. This is not a great, like, now I can totally discreetly, but like at the time I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And she was just like talking to me, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, we're not on this basis. And so I kind of reviewed the room, and I'm like, it would have been nice if there was a door. Fast forward, I go to another mall. There's a room with a door and a lock, and like a security buzz you in. And so I did a video just talking about how great that was.
Yeah.
And people just loved it. So I'm like, let's see if other malls have it. And so we started reviewing all around.
Yeah.
And so anyways, that's nice. Kind of
the journey.
That's kind of the journey of how I fell into doing more mom, because before that I was doing beauty content.
Okay.
And I found that doing the mom content has been so much more like emotionally fulfilling for me. So we're going to do a little icebreaker.
Yeah. And
okay, we've got some fun little questions.
All right.
You go first.
Okay. Most useless baby gift you got? Those like bouncing rocker things. The like, yeah.
What didn't you like about them?
My kids just didn't like them.
Okay.
Just didn't like them.
I
should also say I have 2 boys. I'm a mom of 2 boys.
I have 1 girl.
Yeah.
This could be the divide.
Yeah.
I liked it. I don't think it was as essential as the internet made me believe.
Yeah,
but
it was not game changing.
I'm glad we had it as a safe place that I could put her like while I showered, or a safe place that I could put her while I made dinner. Like I liked it for that, but honestly, we had the how do you say it? Trip Trap. Their newborn attachment that goes on the high chair.
Much more. Yeah, because at least they're elevated with you, right? You're not like.
And like I bought one off. I bought a rocker off Facebook Marketplace that we used at my dad's place. So it was nice to have, but it wasn't.
It's just like didn't. I got like 0 use out of it. Like.
Yeah. Okay. I got more than 0, but less than I was led to believe.
Yes. Yeah. Not as game changing as you think.
Let's see what I've got.
All right.
What sparked your mom guilt this week? Okay, for me, And I know it's irrational, but it's always, did I read to her enough? Did I talk to her enough? Did I narrate her enough? Did I do enough for her language? Because it's like when you're a mom with a baby or a toddler, you're trying to balance this, like meeting all their physical needs of like feeding them, changing them, caring for them, meeting their emotional needs of like loving them and being present and not just like scrolling on your phone. But then you need to meet their physical, like right now my daughter's a toddler, so physically, like she wants to go outside and she wants to splash in her water like all those things. And then it's like also we need to meet these, I hate to call them academic, but
no, but kind of like developmental,
her more
cognitive,
so we're playing with blocks and like, I try my best to narrate, but then sometimes like you just kind of trail off, right? Or it's like we'll read books, but she loves to just look at pictures.
And turn the pages herself, and
and so I try to tell myself like every afternoon that we're going to sit down and read 5 books. But then I'm like, if I didn't do that day, but then I'm like, no, but I spoke to her all day, like you know, and then I'm like, if I'm worrying about this, it means I'm a good mom because I'm going to be more aware of it for the next day. But then I'm like, okay, but if we had sat down to read books, then she wouldn't have got to like go on the
do all these other things.
And so that's my mom guilt spiral.
And
it all centers around reading, which
balancing everything, right?
You're
balancing everything.
Like I know she's fine. But I'm always like, I should read more.
The like language development, I feel like I worried about that so much less with my second because I was so used to, because I feel like you have to learn that, right? With your first, you have like a 4-month-old baby and you're like, shoot, I guess I should talk to you.
Your person.
Like as we're talking now. But with your second, it's like you're just like, because you're talking to the toddler's talking to you, the toddler's talking to the baby, like they're
interesting.
Yeah.
And because like when you go on mat leave, it's just like you're alone,
silence, right,
with this baby, and I'm like, good morning, how are you?
But then by the second time, you're like in the habit of it.
Interesting. I was telling you this earlier, but I think for our friends on the internet, they might enjoy. It took me a minute to realize when my daughter would walk around saying, oh shit, that she meant outside. And it wasn't until she was standing by the door holding her little shoe saying, oh shit. And I was like, oh, you're not, we thought she was just walking around saying, oh shit.
Who has been swearing in front of you?
I don't even say that. Like, that's not my swear word of choice. And I'm like, where did you pick that up? And no, it just means outside.
So cute.
And then once I'm like, oh.
I hope you have it on video for later.
I think I do. I have a lot of video, but.
How long did I breastfeed? Okay, so I have 2, and they are 7 and 4, and I breastfed them both until they were like between 2.5 and 3.
Okay, that is commitment.
Yeah,
that is. So okay, I'm still nursing my daughter. She's 17 months. When I started nursing her, I'm like, okay, my first goal was to make it to 6 months.
Yeah,
like just let's make it to 6 months, and I'm like, if I can do that, I can be proud of myself. And like that's again, that is not for how other people should feel, but that's just for me. I was like, if I can make it to 6 months, I can be proud of that. And then we made it to 6 months and it was going great. And I'm like, okay, perfect. So if we make it to a year, like that's complete. That's 100%.
Yeah.
I got an A+. Like I got a perfect score, right? A whole entire year.
Yeah.
Like to me, there's always something about like.
You complete it, right?
I completed. Yeah. Like we're good. And she was still loving it and it was still working. And so now then at 12 months, I was like, okay, well, we'll get to 18 months.
Yeah.
And then that is more than perfect. Like she's a toddler and we're like a week from 18 months. And I'm like, I just don't really see us stopping.
Yeah, and it meets different needs for a toddler. You will. But
we will. But
you'll be ready. You'll know.
But I'm just like, oh, we're still going. It didn't occur to me that.
With both around the 2.5 mark, I was like, I am done now. Like this.
I thought when she got all these teeth, but she has all these teeth, and she doesn't hurt me with them.
Yeah. No, it shouldn't hurt with teeth.
But in my obviously, you see this like little like monster of an alligator mouth, like looking up at you with all these like beautiful
little teeth,
sharp little teeth, and I'm just like.
No, but it shouldn't. Yeah,
it doesn't. Yeah. But that was like definitely a fear of mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll know when you're ready to.
What did your family say about baby-led weaning? So I just got back from a trip with my dad, and we were talking about this. So we were in Little Italy. We were at a restaurant, Italian restaurant. Would you believe it? And my daughter's holding her little fork, and she's putting the penne in her mouth, and she's eating her meatball, and she's just like eating everything that's in front of her, and she's perfectly happy. And my dad is just like, she's so good at this. And I'm like, what did you say when I started baby-led weaning? And he was like, I told you that was a great idea. And I'm like, I got so much judgment from my daughter's grandparents, from my grandma, from my aunt. So many people are just like, that's like, they basically thought it was child abusing. But now all those same people are just like,
she's such a good eater.
She's such a good eater. She's so talented. She's so good with her fork. And I'm like, isn't she? How'd that happen? Guess we'll never know. And then my dad's like, yeah, I guess we'll never know. I'm like, we'll never know. We'll never know. And it's been deeply gratifying to me to see what was seen as my crazy ideas work.
Yeah.
Any comments, or shall we get into it?
Let's get into it.
Okay, so I have my very official document here. So it occurred to me last night at about 1:30 in the morning that we were going to be filming this on my phone.
Right. So now you need your laptop for the questions.
So I need my laptop. Okay, so we're going to start off. So I'm a big believer in there's no dumb questions. Sometimes I have a series called First Time Mom 101.
Yeah.
Where the tagline is there's no dumb questions.
Yeah.
What does a doula do?
Great question. And it's not a dumb question. We get asked it all the time. Like, what's the difference between a doula and a midwife?
That was going to be part 2.
Yes. Yeah. So doulas provide non-medical support, basically. So we do education, right? These are all the options. This is what typically so if you want to get an epidural, this is the steps that are going to happen to get it. This is like the optimal time that if you're hoping for a vaginal birth, this would be like the optimal time to get it. If you're having an induction, that might look different. These, like, answering questions, education.
I mean, it almost sounds like that's what a nurse at the hospital should be doing.
But a nurse at the hospital or an OB,
I said should. I didn't say is.
But they're also medically responsible for you and the baby, right? So they are looking at the heart rate tracing and the contractions and your blood pressure and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they don't always have the time
or the bandwidth
to explain every single option.
All the time. Almost like more emotional support.
Yes. So we also do emotional support, right? We typically arrive earlier. I would say, like, most of the time we arrive earlier than midwife. Sometimes we arrive with a midwife. And either if you're having an induction, we'll probably meet you at the hospital, but like often we'll go to people's homes before going to the hospital. So you have that like additional at-home support. And a lot of times we have one of the doctors on our team literally just had a string of births where she had 50 births in a row without a C-section. And I'm like, you should write a book, girl. And she said she's convinced that the only thing she did that would have been done differently was help people stay at home longer. Because if you have a spontaneous labor and you want to have a vaginal birth, 3 extra hours out of the hospital means you're much less likely to have other unnecessary interventions. So the emotional support of like, you're still okay here. This is not an emergency. This is normal. We're going to help you feel comfortable. And then you go to the hospital when you should go to the hospital, as opposed to like too early and being sent home or whatever. I feel like that's a really important thing that doulas do.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then also just like that extra set of like eyes and ears in the birthing room, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. And then also just like that extra set of like eyes and ears in the birthing room, right?
Well, I know that, like I wrote out a birth plan.
Yeah.
And I did have someone ask me what was in my birth plan. So I have a video that we're going to go over that.
Yeah.
Okay. It was kind of unhinged.
Yeah.
But I felt good that I wrote it out and that I, got to speak with my husband about what I wanted.
Yes.
But it's like when you're in there for the first time, you're like, I guess that's normal.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Like for me, I had an induction, which looking back, I feel like I was maybe pushed or encouraged towards an induction that I probably didn't need.
Yeah. It happens.
But at the same time, like you're trying to, make the safest decision for yourself and your baby. Like it's not like I don't have like regret over it.
No, but you only make the best decisions you can with the information you have,
right? I
right?
I have more information for the next time.
Yeah.
But I feel like I was kind of encouraged towards an induction that probably wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
And then the induction failed and my water broke.
Okay.
And then you start the timer.
Yes. And then it's
and then
yeah.
And I mean, to be clear, the doctor who did my C-section was lovely. Like the team was great. Like, it wasn't like traumatic. I mean,
positive
recovering
experience.
from a C-section sucks, but the C-section itself was like, I'm gonna say it was like a neutral experience.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like
that's good.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh my god, this was amazing. Like please slice 7 layers of my skin again. Like let's go.
But nobody's gonna say that.
But at the same time, like if my next birth is a C-section, I'm like, okay, you know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it.
Yeah, and even just like because oftentimes people like will come in, you probably had this, like come into the room, they say like we recommend a C-section for X, Y, and Z reasons, and then they like go to another patient or they're like going to prep something or whatever, and people are like, oh, okay. And so the doula is like, do you have any questions about that? Like, let me explain what's about to happen.
So for my C-section, I feel like it's ours because I think of like my husband and my child.
Yeah.
For our family C-section.
Your families, yeah.
You know, basically the doctor was like, I'm not saying you have to have one. She's like, but the doctor who comes in, this was like midnight. She's like, the doctor that's on at 7 a.m. will definitely make you have one. So I felt like it was kind of, I could have a C-section with her who I liked, or
some other doctor you haven't met,
who A, I haven't met, and B, that particular doctor my friend had a bad experience with.
Okay.
So I didn't want him touching my care. So I'm like, and this doctor in particular, she was also the pelvic floor surgeon for the hospital.
Oh, nice.
So I'm like, you know what? If someone's gonna be rooting around in there,
good. That's
rather
what you want.
Be you.
That's what you want. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, totally. And then you have that you feel like you were making the decision.
Yeah,
right?
I felt like I was like a part of the decision. Yeah. But at the same time, I can imagine that there are probably a lot of women who would like to have that support.
Yeah.
So what is like your typical client? Like who comes to you and says, I want like an additional person in this process?
We see all kinds of people, all kinds of families. We do like, I would say like first time families who are more anxious, where they really want to make sure everything, like especially if you have in your head like a specific way that your birth wants to go, that we see a lot. Second time families where they just feel like the first time experience wasn't the way they wanted it, so they want it to go a little bit better, smoother this time.
I actually found it interesting, the questions that came in, a lot of people asking like making the second time smoother. I had imagined that a lot of the second time people would be like, oh well, it's okay, it wasn't great, but it was fun. It's interesting to hear that people like look at
especially if it was like traumatic the first time, people are like, I really want to do this better.
Interesting.
And like 1 in 4 people report their births to be traumatic, or like 1 in 5. It's like a very high number.
I don't have any insight into actual statistics, but I can tell you what I see in my comment section, what I see in my DMs.
Yeah.
And it's actually heartbreaking, the number of people who, and even I think of some of my close friends who've had really.
Yeah.
And so for me, I kind of walk away being like, to me, I feel like I had a very neutral experience. And by being neutral, I'm like, that was great. This was amazing.
Yeah.
Like 10 out of 10. I came out, I wasn't miserable, we were both alive.
I think it's between 20 and 25% of people report their births to be traumatic in North America. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's like if you're having dinner with like 3 girlfriends.
Yeah, one of you.
That's one of you. That's not just like looking at the condo tower out the window. Like
no. It's like it's a lot of people. Yeah. So and it's like there's good evidence to show that like doulas decrease the reported trauma from birth.
I would believe that.
Yeah. So
I think especially if you're like a more anxious person, or maybe you don't have access to as much information.
Yeah. Or the information overwhelm, where you're like, I have access to too much information because social media, right?
The other thing I would imagine, I mean, I will say for me, like I didn't really, to be honest, one of the reasons I didn't even really think about having a doula is I viewed birth as very binary, in that either option A, you've opted into the hospital birth, right? You have an OB, or option A, whatever, like standard path, or option B, you have a midwife, and then if you have a midwife, maybe you have a doula, like
like the more earthy, whatever,
the more earthy, crunchy,
hippie, crunchy moms.
I'm not like an earthy.
Okay, mom. So this is a myth, and it's a very common myth.
But that's what I saw, right? Was that it was either hospital, standard, normal, or the crunchy people over here do the weird emotional things.
We support all kinds of births. I actually feel like doulas are more useful if you're in a hospital.
Well, that's the conclusion I'm drawing. Like
because it keeps you at home, it keeps you out of the hospital longer, it helps you navigate a system that can be very confusing sometimes, it gives you continuity, because like if you have a shift change at 7 and you got there at 5, like you're like, oh, I guess bye, like
thanks for being here.
Right.
That is so interesting. I mean, for me, I kind of looked at it as, I'm like, you know what, my husband and I, like, we have a great relationship, we're great communicators with each other. I know he has my back, I know he knows what I want. I know that the two of us know that ultimately we want healthy mom, healthy baby. Ideally healthy and happy. But we'll take healthy. So I kind of had that side of things. And I will say, like, for me going into birth, like I felt personally a lot of pressure. Not that everything had to go perfectly, but we both needed to come out alive because my mom was effectively in palliative care at the time.
I'm sorry.
And I'm like, there's enough sad
Yeah,
vibes in
enough
our
going on.
family.
Yeah.
I can't make this worse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like me and baby need to come out happy, healthy, ideally cute, and have some nice pictures to send around.
Yeah. Lift everybody's spirits.
We've already got some sad vibes, so
Yeah.
I can't add to the sad vibe.
Totally.
So that was kind of, I guess, the pressure that I felt.
Mhm.
But for me, I was like, well, I don't need like another person I don't know, like being involved in this process.
Yeah, we do. So we also offer a prenatal class, and one of the reasons why we started offering it was in COVID, you couldn't have a second person. So we basically put together a prenatal program that's like a doula training for your partner. So if we have people, and we do often, like I think I'm fine with just my partner. Like I know I want an epidural, so I'm just like putting that clock on until like we walk in and get the epidural. So like I don't know if I need the additional support.
Okay.
And so we do have like
by the way, I actually never made it to an epidural.
Oh no.
Because they kept on giving me like things to advance the induction. I got to the max level of Pitocin
without an epidural.
Woo. And I was like, "Can I have some Tylenol?" And the OB looked at me like I was nuts. She was like, "You should be withering in pain.
Yeah,
you should be begging me for an epidural."
So much Pitocin.
And I'm like, God. "Could I have a Tylenol to take the edge off?" And she was like, "No."
Can I give you something stronger?
She's like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, no. Like, I mean, I'm like, I feel like I have like a strong period. And she's like,
not responding the way I thought you would respond over here.
Anyways, and that was probably, she was like, I really don't think this is gonna come along. So that's kind of how we got to the C-section. Yeah, I've actually never had an epidural.
Yeah. So yeah, we have lots of people.
Maybe next time. I'm not. I thought I'd have one.
Yeah, lots of people like plan on having it, where they're like, I want an epidural. So then
I don't want to suffer.
Sorry. Yeah. It's fair. It's fair.
Very happy for all the people who want to do the unmedicated thing. Yeah. I'm like, thank God it is 2025. We're born with
all the options.
We have options in science. And I don't have to suffer. Like,
yeah, totally. So, but sometimes we'll have, so then like a prenatal class where we're given to give your partner all the information. We have like this beautiful, one of the people on our team is an artist. So we have this like absolutely beautiful
of course,
handbook.
Team. Okay.
with like, you can tab it and stuff. It's,
Okay, I feel like I definitely want to consider that for next time.
Yeah.
Because I really feel like the prenatal class that I got for free at the hospital was more just like how to give birth at the hospital.
Yes. We hear that all the time.
And I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna be. And then I listened to it. I'm like,
yeah, go here. This is how you register. Like, this is where you'll get your epidural.
Okay, but like, what about me?
Yes, totally. Yeah,
so,
that's why we came up with it.
Okay. Well, so this is our first kind of episode. We'll see how long it actually is, but we've got at least 3 more episodes coming. I think I'm going to release them weekly.
Yeah.
So make sure you're following along because we've got, let me pull up my computer so I can actually tell you what we have on here.
So many questions.
We've got so many questions. We've got supply, increasing your supply, pumping, tongue and lip ties, preparing for labor. Like we've got so many questions.
So many things we're covering.
So welcome back. This is our second episode of our Vaguely podcast with Dr. Sarah. So we're talking about all things birth, lactation. She's a doula and a lactation consultant. Go back to our first episode for the full intro, but we are talking all things birth, doula, and breastfeeding. So because all my notes are on my phone and we are filming on my phone, I have my computer here. So in this video, we're going to be talking about basically breast milk supply, pumping, and combo feeding. So my first question, actually I'm going to look at you with the computer before I put this down. Okay, so my first question is, does the bottle matter? So before we even get to, we're a little all over the place, but
that's fine.
Does the bottle matter? Because when I was pregnant, all I could see online was that you had to have the wide neck bottles or whatever. And then when I met with my lactation consultant, she said the bottle doesn't matter, the flow did. So I'd love your take on that.
I think sort of both. Because and it depends on the baby also, right? So
I feel like everything's
like, that's my answer to everything.
Like, what sleeper should I buy?
I don't know, it depends on the baby. Yes, yeah.
What diaper should I use? Well, depends on your baby.
Yeah, it does. So if you have a baby who opens their mouth easily, doesn't have any issues with sucking or tongue function, then yes, the bottle doesn't matter. But if you have a baby where there's maybe mechanical challenges, and maybe that's why you're using the bottle because they're not latching as well, then what you want to try and make sure that the mechanics in the bottle are as close to the breast as you
want
can.
that
wide open mouth. And if they can get a wide open mouth on whatever bottle you're using, great. But if they're like this on the bottle, then they're going to try and latch onto you and be like this.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much of this they needed.
Yes, very wide, or else it's going to hurt, right? It's biting. Yeah, but the flow also matters a lot. And that doesn't matter whether or not their mechanics are good or not, because if you are giving them fast and furious at the bottle, that's not realistic at the breast most of the time.
That's what I found. It took us about a month so my daughter had a little bit of a NICU stay, where she was on the bottle, so she wasn't on the breast, but I was pumping. And I found it was one of the reasons it was kind of hard to transition her to the breast. I'd say it took us about 3 weeks after leaving the NICU to fully transition. Maybe it was 4 weeks. It was a fuzzy time. But like I would kind of say like she got used to the easy life on the bottle. And I'm like, no, girl, you gotta
put in the work here.
You have to put in some effort. And then once she started,
and depending on the personality of the baby too, like sometimes they're like, oh yeah, all right, I'll put in the effort, and sometimes they're like, excuse me, I'm hungry now.
She was like, excuse me. So we would end up like latching her for a couple minutes, as long as she would participate.
Settle.
And then afterwards we'd fill her up with the bottle. But I was just like, come on, girl. Like,
you have to put in the, so then how you do the bottle, and like I often recommend paced bottle feeding, which is you're kind of like slowing it down.
I feel like I need to fix that.
So that they have the, sometimes I don't get any milk, but it's not an emergency, so it's okay.
Interesting.
So and that makes it easier.
Pace feeding was also that they get full faster, but they don't get the cue in their mind that they're full.
Also that. So like a full, any human, any baby or adult, takes about 15 to 20 minutes for your brain and your stomach to like effectively communicate with each other.
I feel like what you just said there is like where I think such a disconnect for babies comes in. Because ultimately I think so many questions would be solved if we just remembered that
babies are small humans. Yes. I say, like, one of the things I say a lot is like, I don't eat the same amount for breakfast as I do for dinner. So like, why are we always saying like this baby needs 3 ounces every 3 hours? Like that's what if they want 4, and what if they want 2? Like,
and the thing is, when you're breastfeeding, you have
no idea.
They're just happy. But when your bottle feeds, it's like you see it, and then I think that can lead to some anxiety too.
Definitely.
Okay, so we kind of have 3 questions that in my mind are just kind of
the same,
or like your answer is going to connect.
Okay.
So the first question, again, we're just going to make sure we got all of this here. So the first question is basically, how do you support milk supply through nutrition?
Mm-hmm.
The second question is info on combo feeding and pumping.
Okay.
And the third is combo feeding and supply.
Okay.
So you see what I mean by it's like,
it's all kind of related.
So basically milk supply, nutrition, pumping,
okay. So
and combo feeding.
Milk supply and nutrition, I always kind of want to like take the pressure off people a little bit, because your body is going to make nutritionally adequate milk to your detriment. And so when for real. So when I'm talking really about nutrition, I'm not talking about boosting your supply. Like, unless you are starving yourself, more than likely it's not what's going to have the impact on your supply. What I am going to talk about
is what brought about my supply.
But what I am going to talk about is like, you're recovering from birth. You are in an extremely depleted state. You're waking up all the time. And so you need to nourish yourself for you.
Yes. My philosophy post-birth is I'm like, my body did something amazing. Okay. My body created a human. And then after creating that human from like scratch, basically, like on my own, okay, like all by myself. After creating a person, I then like nourish it. My daughter only had breast milk until she was 6 months. I then exclusively nourished her and her growing brain and her growing body with my body. So I was just like, my job is not to lose weight right now.
No, it's not.
I'm like, my job is not to lose weight. My body is doing amazing things. I am going to nourish and feed myself.
Yes.
And we will worry about weight loss
later
at some point.
Yes.
Later.
Yeah.
Like,
and
right
actually
now,
one of the things that
and I will say, actually, I lost 35 pounds in her first year.
Amazing.
Without
Trying, yeah.
exercising or
Yeah.
dieting.
Yeah.
I swear she just like sucked it out of me.
Yeah.
I was like, thank you.
But one of the things that can happen is if you are really concerned about getting your body back. That's like a whole other topic.
I still have my body. I have 2 arms.
Right.
I have 2 legs.
Your whole body.
I have an entire body.
But if you're really concerned about getting your body back or looking a certain way, and you're restrictive in what you're eating, then your body, like your brain does not know the difference between your baby waking you up 6 times a night and a tiger chasing you. From like a cortisol perspective, it's the same, right? It's like, great. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
And thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that.
But so you're getting these cortisol spikes, but then if you also are trying to diet, you're restricting food. So your body thinks that there's a tiger chasing you all the time, and it's a famine. And you know what your body's going to do? Hold on to as much fat as it possibly can. And so a lot of times you actually gain weight because of that. Because it's just like your body's like, oh my God, it's such an emergency. We have to hold on and store.
And then we have the baby, and then we're like, let's do that again. Wild to me.
Yes. Yeah. So when I talk about the I will throw in a fun fact because I do like my breastfeeding fun facts. It doesn't, your supply is not super related to your nutrition, but the flavor profile of your milk changes with what you eat.
Oh.
Yeah. So like the volatile compounds.
What you're telling me is that my daughter's going to be a Diet Coke addict.
Yes. No. Like the volatile compounds, so like menthol or like the things that you smell when you're cooking. Those things can pass through into your milk. And so if you're having like a peppermint latte at Christmas, she's also having a peppermint latte at Christmas.
I love that for us.
Yeah.
I love that for us. She's eaten very well then.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's really interesting. I mean, to me, I think, again, not having a professional background in this, just having a very professional background as a mom influencer, to me, it's like you should be nourishing your body because you deserve to have a nourished body. And when your body is nourished, to me, you are better able to care for your child in every single direction.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I made these really delicious lactation cookies. I found the recipe online. They had lots of like flax seeds.
Yeah,
and chia
great.
Seeds.
Yeah.
They were like extremely caloric. They were like these like very calorically dense chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, awesome.
They tasted so good. Nice. I would just sit there like nursing her in the middle of the night, like eating my cookie.
I love it.
And I'm like, I'll make those again next time.
Yeah, but because it takes extra. It's like about 500 extra calories per day to nurse.
Exclusively. And also, you're not actually taking care of yourself very well.
Yeah. So, no, you're not. Yeah. And it's I'm like stash snacks.
Yes, we had like those Costco Kirkland packs of nuts.
Yeah.
Like the little the
little almonds, packs, whatever. Yes. Yeah.
I just had those in like a little thing beside my bed. Yeah. And sometimes when I'm cleaning my room, I find like a few more stashed somewhere else, and I'm like, those are probably rancid. But I was like a squirrel. I had snacks stashed everywhere. Yeah. And 10 out of 10 will do again.
Yes.
I mean, it sounds like I've gotten medical advice to stash the snacks.
You have.
I love that.
Yeah.
So we had another question. This is from one of my friends who's actually a triplet mom.
Woo.
Like, I don't know how she did it.
Yeah.
But let's talk feeding multiples.
Yeah.
As a lactation consultant, what does that support look like for multiples?
Yeah. So, I mean, it looks like very different for different families depending on what's going on and what's going on with babies. I've not seen triplets. I've seen a number of twins, but I have not seen triplets.
I was as a child, I had these triplet dolls, and I was like, it would be so fun to have triplets because you get to pick 3 names.
Oh my God!
And now I'm just like,
it's so much work.
To be clear, my friend with the triplets, like,
I'm sure everything is like.
She's an incredible mom.
Yeah.
Her kids are so sweet.
Nice.
I don't know how she does it.
Chaos.
I'm sure it's chaotic.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So I mean, it depends on what's going on, because one of the things with multiples is that they're much more likely to be preterm, which has its own issues. There's much more likely, from a preterm, there's more likely to be issues with how the baby latches, and there's more likely to be issues with setting supply. So then you're kind of working with what you're working with, right? And so I've seen everything from like, we're just going to pump and bottle feed to like 1 feed, I'm going to feed the baby and the next feed I'm going to feed the other baby and we're going to do bottle. Like you flip flop back and forth, to like tandem feeding at the same time, to like I had one client who was just exclusively breastfeeding, but she said it was just like a rotating buffet all the time. So like it depends on what's making sense, and setting supply. If they're preterm, it's a little bit harder, for sure, to set supply, but it's those like first 2 weeks for setting supply for any baby is really crucial.
And so how those first 2 weeks, like how do you maximize your supply?
Yeah, so it's like I would say like your body doesn't know how many babies it's had in the first 2 weeks, right? So you have pregnant hormones are way up here like this, and then you have this crash of hormones in the first 2 weeks postpartum to get back down to your normal sort of baseline. Yeah. Which is also where like postpartum like baby blues comes in, that like whoosh. Yeah.
It's like all making sense.
Yeah. But that, because it's shifting so drastically, that's the easiest time to set your supply. And so if you have one baby, you want to be removing milk for one baby, not more than one baby, like not yourself and the freezer, right?
So comment, by the way, on the freezer.
Yeah.
This was something that it took me a minute to wrap my head around. Okay. But with the freezer,
yeah.
We see so much content online. This is why I'm so passionate as a Canadian mom on
mat leave, different.
Talking about the Canadian context, because our friends in America
go back to work at like 6 weeks postpartum if they're lucky.
They might not even be paid for those 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm in a due date group, and a woman's having baby number 2, and she's saying she might get 2.5 weeks off.
Oh my God.
Which, so you see that, and I think a lot of that content, because it's like we share internet with the States,
yeah.
Like
it like bleeds over. I see this all the time.
And you see all these people like worried about having a big
stash,
a big stash in your freezer.
Yeah.
Like I kind of stumbled into having a larger freezer stash, because I was pumping a bit just for relief, and we've been pumping as well.
With the NICU, and
and we'd established that great supply.
Yeah.
And so it was really helpful to have. But like we hardly touched it. Like I gave away probably 10 liters of milk.
Ooh, yeah. Which, like, a good stash, if you are on maternity leave and with your baby, is 2 to 3 feeds.
Our entire top
12 ounces,
was,
oh my God, yeah.
And the only reason we had to give it away is because we were running out of freezer space.
Yeah, and it's gonna go bad at some point too, right? Like, so pumping as much as for one baby, right? So if you're using a bottle, generally my advice is if you're using a bottle, then pump. But if you're not using a bottle, you don't have to pump. But if you have 2, that goes for both babies, right? Like, did one of the babies have a bottle in that time? Then you need to pump. Same with 3, right? Like,
I think that also kind of feeds into a little bit of like a myth that I believed as a first-time mom, with the myth being that like it would help me, so that way someone else could give her a bottle.
Yeah.
And so at first I was like, like I want to pump so my husband can give the baby a bottle. But then I realized that for me personally, as someone who valued my milk supply and valued the nursing relationship, I'm more than happy for my husband to be able to feed the baby a bottle. Like I want him to have that experience too.
Yeah.
But like, let's not pretend it's to help me, because while he's over there,
you're
snuggling my perfect, beautiful baby that I made all by myself with like a brief contribution from him, but I made all by myself.
Yeah.
He's like getting the joy of feeding a bottle. Like I'm happy for him to have that.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting over here pumping.
Yeah.
Like I'm not, my feet aren't up. Like I'm not relaxing.
And you do
then after I pump it, I have to put it in a bottle, or I have to freeze it, and then I have to wash the pump, and then I have to sanitize the pump.
You don't have to do that every time.
Okay, well,
I
did learn that eventually.
Yeah. It's like one of my first things. I'm like, how often are you cleaning the pump?
But but it's like, I'm like, okay, great. He helped me by feeding the baby a bottle, so I could pump and wash things.
Yeah.
Like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. And it's not.
And again, like in Canada, we have the longer maternity leave. We can have our babies with us. And that's not to say that I won't pump for the next baby. Like, it's not that I don't want my husband to, but like, let's just not pretend that it's like,
you can sometimes finagle it where, like, I usually say like the longest stretch of sleep you should be getting with the newborn is like 5 hours.
Yeah.
And so
once we have the 5 hours, there's so much.
Game changing, right?
So much. But I was like, wow, I've never slept this well in my life.
If you can get it where like maybe you're pumping right before or right after that 5-hour stretch and your husband is doing a bottle in the middle somewhere, then it can work out, but it doesn't always work like that.
Yeah, we basically got to a point where we would kind of sleep in shifts.
Yeah.
So like if I did like this. I could feed her entirely on one side and then pump the
other
other.
side. Yeah.
So I would basically feed her, pump, put the bottle in the fridge,
Yeah.
go to sleep. She'd wake up here. My
Yeah.
husband would feed her the bottle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she'd go to sleep.
And then you get a
and
little
then
bit of a
I
longer
would wake
stretch.
up here. He
Yeah.
goes to sleep here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you understand this
yeah,
visual of,
and the way that it works it depends on the baby. It depends on, because sometimes babies are like super happy to take the bottle, and sometimes they're like, actually this makes me way more gassy, so I'm not going to sleep at all afterwards. Like, it really depends on, right? And so sometimes it's nice to have that as an option, and sometimes it doesn't work well. And again, the answer is like, it depends on the baby.
Okay, so let's go back to the multiples.
Yeah.
So back to the multiples. What would you recommend? I know it all depends on the baby. Would you if first time mom, she's having twins or triplets, would you encourage her towards, say, basically breastfeeding each of them half and maybe providing formula to each? Would you encourage her
so it also really depends on the baby, because and how they're and this is where, like I said, I also do infant massage, right? Because how they are in utero might also have a big impact on how they're able to latch. Because if one of them had another person sitting on their head for 9 months, like, like sometimes they just are like not
hunchy.
They're like all scrunchy, and it's not as conducive to breastfeeding. So then maybe you're doing a bottle while you're trying to resolve that issue and breastfeeding the other one. It really, with multiples, I highly recommend a prenatal consult with a lactation consultant. Having that lactation consultant's phone number in your phone. Yeah. Just store. I always tell people in prenatal consults, I'm like, I'm gonna give you my phone number. Don't save it as my name. Just save it as breastfeeding help. And then when you are sleep deprived and don't know what's going on, it's just right there.
I honestly, like, I feel like as a kid or a teen, it's like having twins is like the dream. Like, that sounds so fun. And then after you have a newborn, you're like, imagine having two of these. Oh my God. That are on their own schedule, because they're their own people with their own needs.
Yeah. So it
doesn't sound like the dream anymore. I feel like as I say this, like, just watch me have twins.
Yeah, right.
There are twins in the family.
Woo.
And so I'm always very like,
you just have a lactation consultant who will text you back, right? That's the
surprise. That's gonna be you. Yeah. Okay. So
it's fine. But yeah, having support early, because you really do need, like, what's actually happening with this set of babies, with this mom, what's going on.
I feel like it's the most overused phrase in baby world, though, is every baby's different. Like, what sleeper should I buy? Well, every baby's different. What size clothing do I buy? Well, every baby's different. What diaper should I buy? Every baby's different. And it's like, but it's like, then you get to know your baby. You're like, oh.
Yeah, it is different. It is different. I will say, like, the most successful breastfeeding relationship with multiples I've ever seen, the mom like really advocated for pushing the induction date, because the OB was like, standard for twins is to induce at 37 weeks, and she's like, but if we're all healthy at 37 weeks, could we not? And the OB was kind of like, probably not, but I don't see why not. And she just kept going, like, pushing monitoring, like, let's monitor. And the babies were born closer to 39 weeks.
Can she write a book?
I don't know what she should, but I feel like that was a game changer, because they both came out with like well coordinated sucks and like knew what they were doing.
Yeah, I feel like my induction was at 38 weeks. I'm not necessarily opposed to an induction again if my doctor like really feels like it's safest for me and future baby.
Yeah.
But I think personally I would try to push it to 39 and a half. I think that's what I've kind of learned. Because I was like,
if it's safe, right? Like, if you have that option, I feel like that the longer babies are in there.
And that's kind of the conclusion I've come to, because what I sort of found was like, she was at 38 weeks. And I just think a few of the problems we had would have been better if she was in there a little bit longer. 39 or 40. So I'm like, note to self for future.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of note to self for future, something I did not do. I did not collect colostrum. Okay, I didn't really understand it. I didn't know a lot about it.
Yeah.
And then TikTok comes up, and then you feel like
this is the most common question I'm getting right now.
I felt like I was failing, because I'd see all these other moms with these like little like needle vials, like holding this like handful. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, am I already behind? Like, baby's not even here yet.
You're not.
So like, explain.
Yes. So this was not a thing like 5 years ago. Okay. Like 5 years ago, maybe a little bit more, there was one study that came out that showed in parents with gestational diabetes, if you hand express colostrum prenatally, your milk supply comes in better and faster in one specific patient population.
Okay, I want to add to that one question.
Yeah.
I had a friend leave a comment asking about insulin resistance and the effect on milk supply.
Yes,
I
it
feel
does.
like
It does have an effect on milk supply. Yes.
Probably a negative effect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So making sure your blood sugar. This is where the naturopathic hat comes on. So many hats. All interchanging. But the more you can make sure your blood sugar is stable, that's gonna have a better impact on your supply. So like working with.
But that also goes back to what you're saying about like feeding yourself. Like if
like keeping you're nourishing yourself for your blood sugar, right? Like fiber, protein, low glycemic index foods, like all of that is going to help not have those wild swings, and then that's going to help your supply.
Okay.
And your mood and so many other things. But with the prenatal hand expression, like it somewhere along the line, someone caught onto it, and now it's just like exploded.
So when I remember like the first day, like baby's out, I'm starting to pump.
Yeah.
And I remember like I'm like, nothing's happening. I'm like, it's just like wet on the thing. They're like, no, that's amazing.
Awesome.
I'm like, all I saw on the internet was like full milk cups. I'm like,
yeah, so you're not supposed to get that with colostrum. I don't always recommend prenatal hand expression, but if I am recommending it, it's more meant to be exploratory.
And who do you recommend it to? If you're
definitely patients with gestational diabetes, because there is good evidence to show that it can help. And people who are just like more anxious, like really are like gung ho about it. I'm like, sure, but I always put
we didn't do it, but it worked out.
Caveats. The first one is that it's exploratory, because lots of times you get nothing when you do it, and that does not mean that your supply is not going to come in later. It's how much you get with colostrum hand expression prenatally has absolutely nothing to do with your supply. So you're not
an immediate failure.
You're not an immediate, but also you could have a ton of colostrum coming out and still have problems with breastfeeding. They're not correlated at all.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's one thing to remember, right? You don't want to like give yourself like, oh my God, I'm doing everything great, and then feel like you're failing afterwards. And also you don't want like, oh my God, I feel like I'm failing, and then like you're going into your breastfeeding experience already with that mindset.
Okay.
The other thing is that you want to do it in a way that is easy on your body, because I can show you a video of hand expression, and I can even help you with hand expression, but it takes a little bit of practice, right? What you do on your body with how your milk ducts are is different from the next person, because milk ducts crisscross all over the place. So maybe holding your hand one way on your breast, a little bit further back, a little bit further forward, a different angle is going to get you more milk, feel more comfortable. So if you're going to do it with no expectation of getting anything. And if you get something, bonus.
Oh.
But also, hand expression is free. It's always accessible because you have your hands, and
I like free.
Yeah, it doesn't need electricity, right? So if your pump breaks or whatever, your baby has the cold for the first time and they're having trouble latching and you're engorged and they're hungry and whatever, hand expression is an option. And so you've learned the skill.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. But like no pressure. You gently, because I've seen people bruise themselves from doing it. So like, it's not, and people put so much pressure on themselves about it. So it's like, sometimes I will recommend it for therapeutic reasons, like again with gestational diabetes. If you like have an early scheduled C-section or something like this, most of the time I'm like, this is a bonus exploration exercise. Okay. Yeah.
So come back soon, and we're going to have another episode talking all things breastfeeding, lactation consultant, doula, like all this.
Baby.
See you guys in the next one.